Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone, and we're debuting our brand new format. We've got the same great content as always, with a new format to help better serve our audience. People have been asking for gameplay. I've explained this before. I don't think gameplay actually benefits the person viewing. There's a whole explanation that regards my role as a teacher and how I think without a collaborative teaching atmosphere, watching someone do something leads to poor imitation and not real improvement. So instead, I've put together a general guide of how I think each deck should be played, along with specific card replacements. So this general guide will hopefully allow you to, as you remember it, as you process it, as you learn when and why you are making these choices, be better at Marvel Snap. Today, we're going to look at Peaceful Seas Thanos list. If you missed it, Peaceful did an amazing guest video earlier today for us. Make sure you check that out as well. And Safety Blade with another badass deck called House Hunters Season 2. That is what we're going to talk about today. You should subscribe to this channel. Why should you sub? Well, the first reason is we give you at least two brand new decks that we show you how to play that are proven to work in Marvel Snap, that either get Infinity, have high win rates, or get Infinity tickets, or win tournaments, etc. in Marvel Snap, that we show you how to play. You'll never run out of fun, new, and interesting things to do if you watch this channel, and we'll help you get better at the game so that you can reach your goals in Snap. Hopefully, that's enough of a reason. If it's not, we also do the biggest giveaway in Marvel Snap. I'll be announcing that in tomorrow morning's video. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that either. Because tomorrow morning, we're going to be we're going to be explaining the giveaway, and we've got two more decks. It's another 2 video day tomorrow. Every time there's an OTA and an OTA is scheduled, we release like 15 brand new OTA decks. So expect that to happen tomorrow as well. We're going to give you, assuming there's enough cards, at least 10 to 15 completely new decks with the altered cards in the OTA. So don't miss out on that. Finally, it would really help us out. We'd like you to subscribe to help us. We're trying to grow the channel. We're doing our best to bring you great content to do so, but it's free. It does nothing but help us. If you hit subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. All right. This is what we're going to talk about today. We've got Peaceful Seas Thanos. This is, if you would like to find more from Peaceful Sea, you can find him on twitch.tv/Peaceful Sea. You can find him on YouTube at Peaceful Sea 9294, and you can find him on Twitter at Peaceful Sea TV. Peaceful is an amazingly calm and kind person who plays Snap at a high competitive level, explains decks really, really fully, as you can see again if you check the earlier video today, and he's worth checking out. Safety Blades also got House Hunters Season 2 as his deck. Safety Blade is a genius. He's a Marvel Snapzone writer. You can see his link at marvelsnapzone/author/Safety Blade. He builds some of the best decks in the game. He is the originator of numerous meta decks. Even if he doesn't get the credit he deserves for it, he is brilliant. You can also find him on safetyblade_HS on Twitter and twitch.tv/safetyblade. So make sure you check him out. Absolutely phenomenal player. Okay, Peaceful's Thanos deck. This deck has gone, as of right now, 15-0 in Infinity Conquest. Our friend Fazzer took it for a spin. He went 5-1. I'm only 3-1. I didn't have time to play it all that much, but I am 3-1 in Conquest with it. I lost to the Leech deck because for that Leech Magic matchup, you have to Reality Stone Limbo as soon as it comes up to really have a good chance of winning that matchup, and I didn't realize that as I was testing it, and I fell too far behind, and then a bad location just ended up killing me. Lockjaw pulled out a Mind Stone with multiple big things that could have won me the game, and that was the end of it. But I had the matchup under control once I realized that Reality Stoning the magic location immediately was the key, because then Leech isn't that big of a... Okay. So the deck runs Armor. Armor is a tech piece to protect your stones, sure, but you don't super care about protecting your stones. Professor X does that in the only lane you really, really care about. What Armor really does here is it shuts down opposing destruction. You've got Jeff, and some people don't love Jeff in every deck, but Jeff is absolutely excellent here. If he pops out of Lockjaw, he can move out of the way. He's cheap enough to go into Lockjaw, and he goes into Professor X lanes. We've got Lockjaw himself, one of the key cards of the deck. This is a Lockjaw deck. It wants to take advantage of things popping in and out of Lockjaw. Don't be afraid to fill the Lockjaw lane if you basically win it. Say, for example, you got an Onslaught in there, and then you can play a Stone and an Iron Man. Go right ahead, lock up that lane, and let Professor X close another for you. Cosmo is another counter card for later in the game. If you're dropping a Stone to Lockjaw, you often drop a Cosmo elsewhere, especially if you know they're playing, again, something like Destroy, something like Silver Samurai, something that they're going to do to try and disrupt you. Or if you popped out for example, a Devil Dinosaur, dropping a Stone and a Cosmo in that lane will often just let Devil Dino win that lane. Iron Man is huge power. It's a power multiplier. You have a lot of 3 power things. You'll sometimes end up with like an armor and power stone in a lane, maybe with if that lane is on the right, Iron Man drop there. Now you've got 12 power, and you can make that up to 24 if you drop Claw in the lane next to them. It ends up really, really solid. Also, just 3/3s and Iron Man ends up pretty good. Like it works out really well. Devil Dino goes without saying. Professor X is a great way to lock up a lane. If it pops out of Lockjaw, that's where you have Jeff and Claw from, which means you want to be playing in the right 2 lanes. Claw, we already explained. Vision works amazingly with Professor X. It pops out of Lockjaw, you move it to a spot, you Professor X that spot, you win the game. Nice and simple. Onslaught is Onslaught. Onslaught pumps Claw's bonus to 12. It makes Iron Man's lane alone a 28 power lane. It makes the Soulstone give -2 to every opponent card at the location. And it makes Devil Dinosaur absolutely humongous and capable of competing with the biggest cards in the game. All of these things are pretty good. America is here to help your consistency in seeing 2 specific cards. Those cards are Lockjaw and the Mind Stone. Both are the keys to the deck. And Thanos is obviously how you have the stones on the deck. He's also just a good sized body. If you don't have Jeff, replace him with either Daredevil or Psylocke. Daredevil and Psylocke are both better ways to Professor X, and deciding whether you want to put stones into Lockjaw on turn 5, or you want to try Professor X or drop a Devil Dino or whatever, is often a very complicated decision, and that decision is made much easier with Daredevil. Psylocke gives you an extra chance for Professor X on 4. Professor X on 4 is extraordinarily powerful. Onslaught is the only other swing card here that I consider changing. I think he's excellent in the deck, but he can sometimes feel clunky and underpowered. And remember, I played Leech, where Onslaught is actively bad. He can be Legion to make every location be what you want, almost as like a backup Reality Stone for that bad matchup. He can be Arrow. Arrow coming out of Lockjaw is great. It pulls opponents' cards into lanes that they don't necessarily want to compete in. Or he can be Magneto, and Magneto is a very, very good meta card, right? Because there's a lot of Darkhawk in the meta, and there's a lot of Silver Surfer brood nonsense in the meta. If you can mess up their locations, well, it ends up really powerful. I think Onslaught's probably right, but it's close enough. Let's get to the turn by turn. All right, turn by turn plus snapping. First, you want your early plays to be center and right locations. So if you need to Professor X, it can be supported by Claw. It's hugely important. You would like to generally get about 2 cards in each of those other lanes, but you're trying to keep one lane mindfully open because you also want that center or right location to be locked up. Play stones to draw. Lambie has hopefully taught everyone this by now, Lambie being player of the game if you somehow missed that memo. If you have the Mind Stone on turn 1 with Thanos, you're favored now, so you snap. You say you want to stay in when you're unfavored, great. You're making them pay to a premium to see their cards when you've already seen your combo on turn 1. Remember, just because you snap doesn't mean you can't still retreat, so don't freak out. Turn 2 is usually more stones to draw. Unless you have Lockjaw, then you save stones and play one of the 2 drops if you can. Turn 3 is Lockjaw if you have him. If not, it's Time Stone into Professor X. If not, you're just playing general filler cards. But if you have either of the first 2 plays, the Lockjaw or the Time Stone into Professor X, you are snapping before playing. These are like the ultimate snaps. Again, snapping doesn't mean you're automatically going to win. It means you're favored at this point, and you're not staying in just to see. You are pushing your advantage. Turn 4 is stones into Lockjaw or Professor X, or develop the board. If you have to just develop the board, Time Stone is great here. It lets you play an extra stone on turn 5 with whatever you want, or drop an early 6. Either one are very strong. Turn 5 is either stone to Lockjaw or drop a 5. You've got enough 5s in the deck. Let's just do a quick count. You've got Iron Man, Devil Dino, Professor X, Claw, Vision, 5, right? It's 5 5s. So you've got 5 5s. Pick one, drop it. It's going to depend very heavily on the situation. Professor X is very often right here, but not always. And lastly, if your play was either Devil Dinosaur, Iron Man, or Claw on turn 5, you drop Onslaught on it. If not, you'd really like to drop Devil Dinosaur. It's usually bigger than Thanos. Although this deck does a decent job of filling up, of getting every stone out because of Lockjaw. So if you've got a 20 power Thanos, you drop that. Very often, opponents won't realize your Thanos has turned on or that you have it or really play around it. If you can tell your opponent hasn't done that and there's a lane that Thanos can just go over the top of, that's the only time I really snap on turn 5 there. At the end of turn 5, I think the never snap on turn 6 thing is just wrong. I think you try and steal those extra cubes when you can. That's this deck. We're going to take one more look at it. Remember that your goal with the deck is to use Lockjaw and Mindstone and then ultimately Time Stone to cheat out powerful cards. And once you have those powerful cards, you win. Okay. We are now on to Safety Blades House Hunters Season 2. We did House Hunters Season 1 last week. If you'd like to check it out, please feel free. It's a wave deck. This is instead a deck that is taking advantage of the brand new card, Silver Samurai. So make sure you check out last week's video if you're more interested in I believe it was actually last Sunday. If you're interested in the Wave version and didn't get Silver Samurai, but also have card replacements for it. This deck is about Kitty Pryde and Silk really pumping up Angela and Craven. Those cards become far more valuable than 2 power, with Kitty and Silk pumping them all over the place. Spider-Man's also great to Angela to move over to Craven. Captain Marvel can go in Angela, then move over and give Craven a bump, so on, so forth. Wolverine is here because of Silver Samurai. You're likely, if you have Wolverine, to play Silver Samurai on 4, because that's a turn 4 9 power play. That's you just Darkhawked, right? Like that's a safe Darkhawk that you don't have to worry about getting killed. It's awesome. Um, if not, if you're gonna have to discard something good, then you want a Silver Samurai on 5 so that you can make sure you can sort of target what you want to discard from Samurai. Samurai is amazing disruption. I keep hitting things like Taskmaster. I managed to hit a freaking She-Hulk with it that won me a game. Um, Silver Samurai has been absolutely insane. I've hit Iron Man like 3 or 4 different times. It just wins games. It's a super powerful card. And of course, that powerful card on either 4 or 5, no longer limited to just 5, lets you play Stature. You've got all this move to benefit Miles. You've got Silk, Jeff, and Spider-Man, all of which make Miles a 1-drop. You've got Silver Samurai, which makes Stature a 1-drop. And you've got Kitty, which of course becomes one of the bigger ones throughout time. Legion is a game winner. It says all the locations or whatever I want it to be. Sometimes just playing Legion on 5 ends the game. Sometimes an energy cheat earlier will help Legion just win the game. Don't hesitate to do that. Snap before you do, please. And finally, Legion on 6 with either Stature, Miles, or Kitty. Ideally, you've got Miles out before then, so you can take extra advantage of your low cost, high power cards. Is absolutely excellent to turn a game around. Yeah, it's worth remembering here that this is a really expensive deck, but it is a deck that has already won an Infinity season for safety. Okay, replacements. If you don't have Kitty Pryde, try out Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler also replaces Jeff. If you're missing either, the Order of Cards replacement are Nebula, Spider-Ham, and Armor. So if you have like no upper series cards, you'd be running Nightcrawler and Armor here. I don't love it, but it's doable. You can try to replace Silk with Cloak. It's good, but not good enough. The deck is kind of really built around Silk. It's the single most irreplaceable card. The deck is also built for Silver Samurai. You can try Black Bolt, but now you're going to need Shang-Chi True. Shang-Chi 2, because Silver Samurai discarding a lot of those really powerful zeros is sort of your disruption that gets you around the things that Shang would usually handle. If you don't have Legion, the answer is also obviously Black Bolt, right? Like Black Bolt is just an extra powerful card that does a similar enough thing to Legion. You can try Vision if you really prefer, but I think Black Bolt is right. All right, that is our replacements. Let's go turn by turn. Your main goal is to get Craven and Angela big using Silk and Kitty Pryde. So Kitty Pride makes Angela humongous. As soon as you know they don't have Shang, you go above 8. If not, you stop at 8. Silk bounces back and forth, making Craven big. Turn 1, play Kitty. If you have Angela, you can snap right away. That combo is powerful enough to be worth it. Turn 2, you want to play Craven, Silk, or Angela in that order if you don't have any. I'd play Kitty again, usually over Jeff, unless I have Miles in hand. But if you have Craven and Silk, you can snap. Craven and Silk are an amazingly powerful combo that usually mean you can snap. Again, obviously pending locations. If the destroy a card that moves your location is out, skip that. But if you have Craven and Silk and neutral locations thus far, you are snapping. Turn 3, play whichever other 2-cost card, ideally moving with Kitty or Miles. So you want to play a card on Silk to move Silk. If you played Jeff, you want to usually move Jeff this turn, and you want to get out an extra card like Kitty or Miles. Or Miles on this turn. It's unlikely that you can get out Kitty this turn unless you lost priority early and then they already moved your Silk. But if you can, feel free. There's no reason not to have a 1/5. If you have Legion and a powerful location, now that all 3 locations have revealed, snap. Next turn, you're playing Spider-Man and Miles or Kitty. That's a potential 10 power turn 4. Seems pretty good. It also moves. Remember, you can play Spider-Man on your Angela to give it the +2 power, and then it can move over to Cravens, give that +2 power too. You can also play Silver Samurai here if Wolverine is in here and the lowest power card. That is a nice 9 power turn 4. Again, these are really, really strong things you can do on turn 4. I really like the Silver Samurai into Wolverine because it really only costs you 1 card because you're never likely to play Wolverine. Although Wolverine does occasionally get played on destroy locations. Like if you see the destroy a first card that gets played here, location or Death's Domain or whatever, feel free to throw Wolverine. It's not a big deal. That's just, extra value. Turn 5, you want to play Silver Samurai in a 1-class card, or Captain Marvel in a 1, or just drop Legion if you can end the game with Legion. Legion's powerful enough, Captain Marvel and a 1, or Silver Samurai. All great plays. Silver Samurai and Miles, for example, would be with Wolverine in hand would be a 14 power turn. That's also going to open up your stature for you. Time you play Silver Samurai, you're opening up stature. Turn 6, Captain Marvel and 2/1s, Kitty and stature, or Legion and a 1. Kitty can be bigger than stature, usually isn't, but can be. So that's perfectly fine. The reason I like to play Legion on 5 when I'm going to Legion is because I really like the 4 and 2/2s, which means I have to play my Silver Samurai on 4. This deck is super good and really, really fun, and I urge you to try it out. Again, here's the deck. Kitty, Angela, Craven, and Silk form the core package, as in Lammy's Confusion deck. Jeff provides extra support along with Spider-Man. Both of these help activate Miles. Captain Marvel is really powerful, helps activate Craven. Silver Samurai is just a powerful disruptive tool that gives you a 2/4 in Wolverine, great stats, and a 1/6 for incredible stats and stature, and Legion is game-winning / back-breaking phenomenal. That's the deck. That's almost the end of today's video. We are finally at our closing time. Final thoughts. These decks today are both proven Infinity Conquest winners that will work for you. We have every replacement you need. We have hopefully provided you enough value that if you stuck it out this long, you feel comfortable subscribing, you'll like, you'll comment, you'll let us know. One other small thing for anyone who made it this long, please note, I told you I was going to add all my variants to the decks from now on. These are the variants I use for each of these decks. So hopefully you thought that was as cool as I did. I think it's more visually appealing. Maybe one day I'll just do my favorite variants of each card or whatever. But I'm just trying to find new ways to provide you guys value, keep things interesting. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for both the giveaway and 2 brand new decks. Peace.